It's the middle of the night, and you are wide awake. Not in a bed, on the ground. 10,000 years ago. The fire beside you has burned down to a low orange glow. Everyone in your group is asleep. You can hear them breathing in the dark. And your eyes are open, staring up, hours before the sun. You are not sick. Nothing has gone wrong. But something out there in the black is going to decide, in the next few hours, whether you live until morning. And the fact that you are awake right now is the reason you might. Here's what nobody tells you. The thing you call insomnia isn't a glitch in your body. It's the last surviving instinct from nights exactly like this one. This is how ancient humans survived, and tonight, we're going to stay awake through the whole thing with you. By the time the sun comes up, you'll understand why you still snap awake at 3 a.m., and why, for almost all of human history, that was the single smartest thing a body could do. So, you're awake. Listen. Beyond the ring of firelight, the world is enormous and completely black. No walls, no door to lock, no roof. Just you, the dying fire, and whatever is moving out there in the dark. And things are moving. Night is when the hunters come out. The big cats, the things with better eyes than yours and quieter feet. You can't see them, but somewhere out past the light, they can almost certainly see you. For your entire species, darkness never meant rest. It meant you were the prey. Small, slow, soft, and blind in the one half of the day that belonged to something with claws. Now picture what happens if every single person in your group drops into a deep, motionless, 8-hour sleep at the same moment. For a third of every day, all of you are blind. Deaf to the grass, a soft, sleeping pile in the open, with the fire dying down to nothing. No animal that slept like that lived long enough to become you. So evolution did something quietly brilliant. It never let you all switch off at once. Look around the camp. That figure at the far edge. She woke an hour ago, and she hasn't quite drifted back yet. The old man near the fire barely sleeps at all anymore. He'll be up before the sky turns gray. You woke just now, and in an hour, without a word, someone else will surface into the dark, and you'll finally fall back. Nobody assigned this. Nobody volunteered for a shift. Your bodies simply refused to power down in unison. An anthropologist named David Sampson followed a group who still live this way, the Hadza in Tanzania, across weeks of nights. Out of more than 200 hours of darkness, the total time when every single person was asleep at once added up to about 18 minutes. 18 minutes across weeks. Every other moment of every night, somebody in the camp was awake. Somebody was watching the dark. Tonight, that somebody is you. Near your feet, a child stirs and whimpers, half caught in a dream. Without really waking, you reach out and rest a hand on their back until they settle. You didn't decide to be awake for that either, but you were. You always are, a little, on these nights. And here is the part that should change how this whole night feels. You waking up was not a failure of sleep. It was the plan. For most of human history, people didn't sleep in one long block the way you try to now. They slept in two. A first sleep, a few hours after dark. Then a stretch of waking, in the deep middle of the night. Then a second sleep, until dawn. A historian named Roger Ekirch found it written into diaries and court records and letters for centuries. First sleep, second sleep, spoken about as plainly as breakfast and dinner. And that waking stretch in between the two? It wasn't dreaded, it was used. People fed the fire, talked in low voices, held each other. Some just lay there, awake and unhurried, watching the coals. Calm. That's the strange part. When a scientist named Thomas Ware gave modern people long, electric-free nights, their sleep quietly split back into two. And in that middle gap, their bodies filled with a hormone that leaves you drowsy, warm, almost meditative, not anxious, at ease. So sit in your gap for a moment. The fire is warm, the watch is yours. And your body right now, in the middle of the night, is doing exactly what 10,000 generations built it to do. Quick thing. Only because you're still here in the dark with me, which already beats most people's attention span. If a body quietly running instincts nobody ever told it to stop running fascinates you as much as it unsettles you, that is this entire channel, How Ancient Humans Survived. Hit subscribe, and the next night is already loaded. How they made it through the cold once the fire finally went out. Right, back to your watch. Because out past the fire, something just changed. A sound. Not the wind. A weight shifting, a slow, deliberate press of something heavy against dry grass, once, and then nothing. Then again, a little closer. Something large is testing the edge of the dark, reading the sleeping shapes by the fire, counting them, deciding whether they are worth the risk. And you are already awake. You are already looking. Your heart is already going. That cold, electric jolt that yanks you from drowsy to fully alert in a single second. The one you feel at your desk when a message pings, and sometimes at 3 a.m. for no reason you can name. You reach over, without standing, and push the last dry branch into the coals, and the fire catches and leaps up tall and bright, throwing light out past the edge of the camp. And whatever it was thinks better of it, and melts back into the black. Nobody else stirred. They never had to. The watch held. It held because one restless, wide-eyed, can't-get-back-to-sleep human happened to be sitting up at exactly the wrong hour for a predator, and exactly the right hour for everyone she loved. That was the job. You just did it, half asleep, without even standing up. The sky goes from black to a thin gray at the edge. The danger drains out of the world with the dark, and you feel your eyes getting heavy again, the second sleep, pulling you down for one last hour before the camp wakes and the day begins. And here's the thing none of these people ever once said, not in any of those old records, not in any of the groups still living this way. None of them had a word for insomnia. A sleep scientist named Jerome Siegel studied people still living without electricity and found the idea simply didn't exist. Not because everyone slept perfectly. They woke all through the night, exactly like you. But waking in the dark wasn't a condition. It was weather. It came, it passed, and there was nothing to diagnose because nothing was wrong. Frankly, they had a healthier relationship with 3 a.m. than most people today with a sleep tracking app and a drawer full of supplements. Now open your eyes on a different night. No fire, no group, no dark tree line, just a bright rectangle of a room, a phone glowing on the nightstand, and a clock quietly counting everything this is going to cost you tomorrow. Same wake up, same 3 a.m., the same body running the very same ancient program, the alert, the open eyes, the watch. But we deleted the reason for it. We flooded the night with light and glued the two sleeps back into one nervous block. We took away the fire to feed and the watch to stand, and left the old instinct with nothing left to do but sit there in the dark, filed quietly under anxiety. The ancient you woke into a warm, shared, expected night and felt calm. You wake into a silent, solitary, too bright one and feel like your body has betrayed you. But it's the same wake-up. It always was. So the next time it's 3 a.m. and you're lying there staring at the ceiling, you are not broken and you are not failing at sleep. You are standing a watch that ended 10,000 years ago, and nobody ever told your body the night was finally over. What time do you always seem to wake up in the dark? Is it 3 a.m. for you too?